Welcome back. We are doing another audit of my own stuff today. So, SEO is one of the other key marketing without social media strategies that I'm really keen to dig deeper into in my own business. And therefore, I obviously thought we would open my own business up for us to learn from, using me as an example. I have brought in my lovely SEO coach, Mariah Magazine, to audit my website with us, go through and point out what mistakes I'm making, where we might be able to make improvements, and basically for us all to learn from what I'm doing and give Mariah sort of a chance to talk through some stuff so that we can all learn, but also so that personally I can keep making more improvements to my SEO, because this is my secret ulterior motive here, is that I want to learn to do the stuff better. It's not my area of expertise, and that's why I bring on these amazing experts. So before we get into the audit, Mariah, do you want to do a quick intro and then we can start ripping my website apart?
Yes, for sure. Okay. So I'm really excited about this. Okay. I'm Mariah. I'm an SEO consultant and educator for entrepreneurs over at mariahmagazine.com. So basically my whole spiel is like SEO does not have to be as overwhelming and as technical and as annoying as everybody makes it. It really is about like clarity and like giving clarity for you and your business, clarity for your audience, clarity for search engines, for AI search and all of that. And I really enjoy being able to help people prioritize the right things, because what I find is like a lot of people come in and they're like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, that ain't gonna do shit, respectfully. But like, we really have to focus over here where things are gonna move the needle. And so that's my whole thing, is like really results focused SEO, but not in an overly technical way, and like a really, hey, how do we build a website and create pages and create content in a way that supports our sales process? Because I think that that's where a lot of people kind of lose it, is like they think SEO is like this outside thing that like they need to manipulate, and like Google and AI judges your site in over 200 factors, and a lot of them are user experience, and a lot of them are like, how well is your website set up? And I'm sure that we're going to go over and kind of talk about some things, but there's just like best practices that really weave into website design. And then there's keyword strategy and a whole bunch of other stuff, but like it comes in layers. And I think that that's what I want people to really focus on. It's not like this big, you have to eat this entire huge sandwich right now. It's really like, can we take a couple nibbles, infuse some things, and then allow SEO to build momentum as you're making these tweaks?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I love working with you, is because you make SEO feel less scary, but I think you also like bite it down into stuff that makes sense. It's not just all the technical stuff. It really is like things we can actively go do, even if we're not the most familiar, we're not experts too. So with that being said, I have prepared a little bit earlier. I've been working with Mariah for like 5-6 months now in her search club on my SEO. So like this is not brand new, but I'm still a little nervous to share. So let's bring up my website.
I can point out some stuff that we did change already, because I can kind of remember a couple things.
Let's do it. I like it. Okay. Can you see
Not
website?
quite.
Okay, we'll give it a sec. Is she
There we go.
sharing? She's
Yes.
sharing. Great.
Okay, so the very first thing that I look at when I'm looking at a site is really that main top navigation menu. So that's something that I really want to be clear and easy. Like I said, Google judges a site in over 200 factors. And that top navigation menu is essentially just like how we're allowing users to deep dive into our website, okay? Because there's a ranking factor, and that goes into user experience, and it's kind of like, how long is somebody spending on your site and how many pages are they viewing in one session? And so those are, when they're spending a long time on your site and they're viewing numerous pages per session, that's a signal of like, oh, this website must be a really good fit for the solution. Google and AI bots kind of take note of that. And so in order to do that, we have to make the website easy to navigate. We have to make the pages very easy to find. And so can you hover over some things? Do you have drop downs?
Yeah, I only have the one drop down. So my services is the only thing that drops down. Everything else is an individual page.
Okay, so the first thing that I would suggest, and Squarespace actually makes this kind of hard. I don't know if it's possible without custom CSS, but I prefer drop-down indicators. So like if you have a drop-down, so services right there, having like a little plus button, so people know that like they can hover over it and there's more options. That's something that I always like to have people do. And then the other option is, and it doesn't have to be in the top navigation menu, but I always look for an about page and a contact page. So we have your about there. And so do you have a contact page?
I do. It is hidden in my footer because I got absolutely bombarded with spam.
Okay, yes. So the footer is a fantastic place to put the contact. It's the same thing with like e-commerce websites. So a lot of e-com will not have contact up there. They're like, I literally want like contact me to be the very last thing that you do. So if you can't or don't want to fit it in the main navigation, having it in the footer is fine. But the reason why this is so important is because Google and AI, they're a business. They want their users to be happy with the solutions that they find on their platform. And so Google and AI kind of has to figure out like who's the best solution to this problem and is this person trustworthy? And so they're kind of scanning your site to figure out, are you trustworthy enough for me to send my people to you? And so one of the things that it looks for is the about page and the contact page. And the reason why we know this is because Google actually created a huge PDF. It's like 100 pages long, more than 100 pages long. And it's like this training manual to train actual human users to look for certain things to kind of like test Google's algorithm. And one of those things in the user guidelines was, is there an about page and is there a contact page? So to me, it says if they're trying to train users to better fit the algorithm for that, then the algorithm is looking for that. And so those are some things that I kind of look for right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think I buried mine down here, but I think it could be worth bringing it back up again and looking at improving my, like, whatever that thing is that checks that you're humans before you email me.
Yes.
Try and figure that piece out because I agree that that's a good piece to kind of add up here too.
Yes. And then actually, if we scroll back to the bottom, what I want to point out in the footer. So the footer strategy, this is kind of like an SEO and a user experience thing. And so I see the footer as like a catch-all net. And so this catch-all net, because it's on the bottom of every single page on your website. And so you actually did an incredible job with the footer, 10 out of 10. I have no suggestions on this. And so what I usually look for is those like about and contact, like those kind of things. The other things that I look for is the quick links and like the links to the things that you want to drive traffic to. So like if you have a service page that you want to drive traffic to, or if you have 3 services that you want to drive traffic to, have instead of offerings, maybe somebody would have services and then they would have those 3 options listed right there, because it's the catch-all on that where it's like if somebody didn't get what they needed on that page, where do we want them to go? And then the other thing that I always recommend is social media links. Put them in the footer. Will you click on them for me? I want to see if they open in a new tab or not.
I can, if button moves out the way. It's not letting me click currently, but normally they do. I think because I'm doing a screen share, it won't let me. But
okay. Okay, that's totally fine. So yeah, if who's ever watching this, like make sure that your social media links open in a new tab so that it keeps people on your website still when they're ready to click off of your social media platform. And the other thing is that what matters a lot more now is like brand authority, your brand across the internet. So another thing that I might have you do, and we can't really check it right now, but we would take a look at your social media platforms and just make sure that like your keywords and your language on those profiles are very similar or identical to the keywords that we're kind of hitting on the homepage. So the homepage is kind of like the overall umbrella of like your business as a whole, because it's usually the most visited page on the website. And it's usually the page when other people on the internet are linking back to you. It's usually the page that they're linking to. So a lot of the times, not every time, but a lot of the times it's like the first page that people find. And so making sure that your social media profiles link to your website URL, because you would be surprised at how many people don't do this, especially old Facebook pages. Go back, double check, probably set up your Facebook page like 2015, double check that it makes sense for what we want to be found for, that our website link is in there properly and all of that. And then we always want to make sure that our website also has links to our social media profiles. And then the other thing down here, we'll see, we have your name and then is collaborative marketing expert. Okay, so that is a keyword. And I've worked with Michelle on this. This is a keyword that she wants to start being associated for. And so having it in the footer, it's not going to do very much for rankings, but it's really good in terms of like reinforcing what you're an authority in. Because like I said, Google wants to showcase the best solution to the problem. They want to be like, hey, if I'm referring this website for this thing, I want to know that this is a good solution. So having a keyword about what you do in the footer is a really good way to do that. And so also, if you help clients locally or even online business owners, usually putting like where you're located can be helpful. So for my website, I have as Mariah Magazine SEO consultant located in Buffalo, New York, serving clients worldwide. So it's like I still have my location in there as like a trigger, for people building trust, because I've had clients hire me because they were like, my cousin's brother's uncle's from Buffalo. I love Buffalo. I saw on your website you were from Buffalo. And I was like, okay, cool. But like, we want to support our community. And so that can be a trust building factor. It also kind of just lets Google know where you're at and then reinforces the keyword. So now that we know that the homepage target keyword is collaborative marketing expert, let's scroll back up to the top.
I do have my little Paris, France here. I think I've always been shy because I don't serve in French. However, I think you're right. I could put something in there of like, look at it in France, serving people worldwide, maybe even like in English to make sure I get that point.
You could even do, because I know that like a lot of your audience is in the US, you could be like originally like born and raised in Buffalo,
Australia,
New York.
to make it less helpful. But yeah.
You could definitely, okay, never mind. That's not going to work very well. You could put the born and raised in Australia. That is so fun. That's like a fun fact. Currently living in Paris. And now, you know who's going to be really attracted to that? People who also enjoy traveling. Oh my God, Michelle's traveled. She's been here. She's been there. I love Australia. Like I went and visited Australia. I would be like, oh my God, let's talk about it. Like we're in Australia. And then you could tell me all the things that I missed. And then I would have to go and book a flight again. So it's like it's that human connection type thing that I think a lot of people forget about with SEO. They think it's keyword, 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 manipulate, keyword, keyword. And it's like, no, it's human. It's all human, because that's what the algorithms are doing. When the algorithms shift and change, it's because people, marketers, business owners have manipulated things, because we get very good at it. We look at the data, we want our clients to rank. And so we can kind of manipulate websites. But what the algorithm shifting is doing is essentially being like, no, we want to serve our people and give the best solution to the problem for our people. And so the more that you focus on your people, your audience, and being the best solution, the less you have to worry about all of the algorithm shifts.
That's such good advice, and a big relief, I'm sure, for a lot of us who are like, the algorithm stuff is very scary and very hard to keep up with.
Yes. And that's the thing. A lot of people will come to me and they're just like, well, what do I change? The algorithm shifted. And I'm like, take a look at your data. Have you seen a massive drop? Even if you have, do you want to know like what the biggest tip is after you see a massive drop? To like wait a couple weeks.
I love it.
Like there's nothing that's like an emergency unless like your Google business profile got deactivated for some reason. Like that's a thing that we really need to take a look at. But like most of the time, like when rankings drop, we kind of have to see where they're going to end up in a few weeks, because algorithm shifts take a while. And a lot of the times they bounce back. And so it's really hard to make decisions in the first few weeks, but let's get back to your website here. So the target keyword that we can see right here, I already mentioned it in the footer, but collaborative marketing expert. Notice that it's right there. Will you scroll up all the way? So you can see it before you even scroll Michelle's website. And we probably can't see the H1 or the heading 1 tags right now, but that keyword, collaborative marketing expert for online businesses, that's in an H1 heading. That's extremely important. The H1 heading is like where Google and where these robots kind of look at to get a main idea of this page. And it being your homepage, we definitely want an H1 heading here. And so can you hover over actually the browser tab up at the top? Just hover over it and see if we can see it. We'll see. Oh, it's not going to show it to us. Okay. Usually when you hover over the top, you can see like that's the SEO title for the page. And so the SEO title is metadata that we add on the back end, but it usually shows in the browser tab as well. So that's another place that I know, because I've already checked it. I know that Michelle has her target keyword in there where she has her name and then she has collaborative marketing expert. So that's another place to go ahead and put your target keyword. But let's scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you see, wait, scroll back up. Okay. So we see on the right side, like the paragraph, you can see a collaborative marketing expert right there, and it's bolded. That's really great because remember those user guidelines? When we read that, what we found out is that Google actually reads bolded text differently than regular text. And so I don't recommend going through your page and just bolding every time that you say that. That's where we get a little spammy. We don't want to be ridiculous, but you did it right here in a way where it bolds the keyword, but also bolds what you're a specialist in, which is helpful to the user so they know that they're in the right spot. So there's kind of different nuances there. So we can keep scrolling. Okay, great. Great. Yep. And then here we go. So collaborative marketing expert, this is probably in an H2 heading. So getting your target keyword in an H2 heading is very, very helpful. It's just another signal to Google what your target keyword is, what you want to be ranking for. A lot of the times, this is like my SEO quick fix is like, if it's a hard way to get the target keyword on like a homepage or a services page, put a mini about section because that's where you can hit it. Like, and then you're reading it as a user. And you're not thinking, oh my God, Michelle, like, I get it. You're a collaborative marketing expert. Like you didn't use it that many times, but you used it enough times within the paragraph, in the H1, in the H2. And I'm assuming that we're going to use it again. I don't really remember.
I can't say if I do either, but I'm sure it's somewhere else.
It's in the footer.
I think it's just in the footer. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, another place would be, and we would have to like think about a homepage strategy in terms of what would make sense. But if you can infuse it in another spot, sometimes it can be in like the services section. Sometimes it can be in like a press section. It can be in like very specific sections like that. It's not make or break. I think that you're using it in the key places. I also think that you have it in your meta description. If you don't, you definitely have to. So that's just another piece of metadata where Google's going to look at things.
Awesome. Yeah. So when we're thinking about this to expand it beyond like my website, let's say we've got someone in a completely different niche. Really, the key takeaway here is to figure out kind of what other people would call you and put that term in lots of different places. This was weirdly super hard for me to wrap my head around before we talked about it. So I just want to like underline that it doesn't have to be the most searched word in your industry. It's the most logical thing someone would call what you do. And
yes.
That alone, I feel like, is worth watching this whole video because it took me so long to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, because do you remember what you were saying before?
I don't, but it was way more long-winded. It was like virtual event strategist. I think it was much more vague in terms of like what I was doing too. So this whole process helped me refine what I was sort of calling myself to.
Yeah. And I want people to think about when you're thinking about like, what do other people call you? Because it can be hard, right? It can be really hard. So like me, for example, I could be like, I'm an SEO educator. Nobody's being like, hey, let me hire an SEO educator. Like nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
But what they are saying is SEO consultant or SEO coach. I prefer consultant, but I do obviously do coaching in the membership. But so I lead with SEO consultant because that's the literal thing that people are typing in. Educator is my messaging and positioning. That's like another piece that I kind of add on. So like when you're trying to think of words, especially for your homepage, you don't have to like narrow yourself into such a narrow thing. Like if we scroll up, you actually did a really good job right there, where collaborative marketing expert specializing in online event strategy and education. Like that's the more non-literal part. Like, I don't know if people are going to be like online event strategy. Like, I don't know if they're going to be solution aware enough in order to type that in. But when they get into the online space and they're like, oh my God, I want to do like collaborations. They see other people doing about collaborations and all of that. They're going to be more likely to start looking at collaborative marketing because that is a specific thing that once you're in this world, you kind of start to pick up on things. And so people are like, well, what if people don't? What if people don't know that collaborative marketing expert is a thing? And that's a fair point, but that's where your other pages on your site come in. So that's where your services pages come in. That's where your blog posts come in. So we don't have to fit everything into one bucket on your homepage.
I think that's really helpful too, especially if you have more esoteric kinds of niches, you're less like literal like an SEO expert. I think that's really helpful too. You can go with like the bucket people think and then specialize into what you actually do a bit more.
Yeah, I tell people you can target the keyword and shift perspective where
Mm,
you want to hit it in the content. So like you are a collaborative marketing expert, but like you're not creating live events for people or hosting
mhm,
live panels in person. And maybe that's what people think about. You know what
mm,
I mean? When they think
mhm.
about that stuff. But once they go on your website, you have 4 online businesses right there, like
Yeah.
right at the top in the H1 heading. So now you have the target keyword and you make it very clear in what little niche within this target keyword do you talk to specifically without being fluffy about it. We're still being extremely literal.
Yeah, I love that. I think being literal is underrated.
Yes.
I want to keep going because I think there's so many good little bits and pieces. I know the thing most people think SEO is about is blogging. So shall we have a look at the blog and kind of figure out why that actually fits in?
Sure.
So I have not got my blog linked in my header, and I probably should. But it's so hard to choose which pieces of content go where. So that's already something we could talk about.
What you could do is you can have it as a drop down, like under
Mm,
about, or if you put your contact up there, there's kind of some ways to go ahead and do it, but as long as you have it in the footer, that's pretty solid.
yeah.
Okay, so this page is the blog archive page, which I think people get a
Hmm.
little confused about. So we have our specific blog posts, which you can see right there. So Michelle is like a shit ton of different blog posts,
Yeah.
but then this is the blog archive page. When it comes to the blog archive page, we don't need a keyword for it because when is this page the best solution to the problem? Very rarely, unless somebody was literally typing in collaborative marketing expert blog.
Mm.
And I
Or
can
even like
guarantee,
Michelle Ponver's blog. Like that's the only
yes,
time I would think it would show up.
yes. And in that case, you would already show up because that's your domain name. You already
Mm,
own that. So I don't want people thinking that like they have to have an SEO keyword for every single page because sometimes that's not the case.
yeah,
Okay,
I think that
so
makes sense.
we can click on a blog.
Should we do this one?
Sure, whichever one you'd like.
There we go.
Okay, do you have a target that this is the first question that I ask literally every single time that somebody's like, "Can you take a look at my blog?" I'm like, "What's a target keyword?" Because my feedback is going to be completely dependent on the target keyword.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one is virtual summit workload because this is a common question I get from my audience. It's always hard to like frame that in a way that I'm getting SEO results for because usually it's like, how long does it take? So I'm trying to kind of hit both angles of that same idea.
Okay, so I like what you did here up in the H1 heading. A, you hit something that your people have questions about. B, I like that you used a virtual summit. That right there, it's a keyword. Now, we wouldn't want virtual summit itself to be the only keyword for this because that's way too vague for one blog post. But it is kind of like it's called a seed keyword.
Mm,
And so just using that keyword in certain blog posts, it's just signals to Google that like, Michelle must be really good at talking about virtual summits because she's got like a shit ton of blog posts on it. So that's really good. I also like how you have virtual summit workload and then you expand on that a little bit. We have some space here, people, in the blog post title. And so if somebody types in virtual summit, how long does it take? You literally have those words in the title. And so that's great. Like that's exactly what we want is that very literal thing. The words don't have to be directly right next to each other. Google and AI are pretty good at like understanding context and synonyms and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to usually be like the exact option. It kind of depends on the actual keyword.
mm.
Okay. So the next thing that I would look at, let's move forward thinking that virtual summit workload is your
Yeah.
target keyword. Let's pretend that we've done SEO keyword research. We see that it's searched enough times that like we love it. So in the H1 heading, very important. The next place I'm going to look is in the URL. So we have virtual dash summit dash workload. We separate words with dashes always. Always, always, always. And so that's really good. We have the target keyword in the URL. The next place that I see it is right there within that first 2 lines. So getting it within the first 100 words is really, really helpful. Okay, perfect. And then I can see that we're already interlinking up here. So we have
We're
virtual
trying.
audio summit. Yes. So This is great. Like I said in the beginning, we want people to get into a rabbit hole on our site. So if they find this, we want them to be able to see that like there are other supporting pieces that they can click on and kind of learn about these things. So that's really great. We have another one, event systems. I work like a robot and web editors for you is hilarious.
I think that's like me trying to bring some personality in, because I think previously, before working with you, I was going so by the book with the SEO stuff that you just put like really generic headers, really generic things. And I think you really encouraged me to write how I talk a bit more, and that the SEO can kind of layer in after that.
Yeah.
So that's like a big thing for me, that this sounds more conversational.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for me. So if anybody reads anything that I ever write, it sounds like me. Like I don't sound corporate or collegey or schooly or like anything like that. I literally write all of this how I talk, and think about it. People get so focused on writing how to optimize for SEO. And it's like, yeah, dude, but why are you optimizing for SEO? For humans to find it, for humans to sign up for your email list, for humans to purchase from you. We don't want to read more boring AI generated content. Bleh. Like nobody, like it just doesn't feel good. And so the usual process that I walk people through is find the keyword, try to figure out like what you want this blog post to be, write the post, and then come back in and optimize it. Okay, so we can go here. Oh, I see a virtual summit workload again. Actually, can you do find on your keyboard?
Yes, I can, and it was already there. I don't know
why.
why.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So fancy.
So this is what I do when I'm checking optimization is, and this is going to be harder if you have like, if your keyword is SEO consultant Buffalo, New York, but you put SEO consultant in Buffalo, New York. Like if you don't, like if you have to add those little incremental words, this isn't going to work as well. But if you can get like the actual keyword in there, we can see right away, Michelle is using this keyword 7 times in the post. And so that's great. We can just scroll and see where that is. So she's using it within the content,
Definitely front loaded.
Front loaded a little bit. I would try to get it in.
It's here too. It's just not showing.
Oh, you know why? I think it's because it lazy loaded. I bet if you search this
Oh.
again, we'll see. Like if you find in.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was going to say is try to get it at the bottom, try to get it in the middle. But notice, like people are like, but I'm worried about being spammy. Bro. You're literally like, this is not like, hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm going to help you with your virtual summit workload. And when you do your virtual summit workload, we're going to figure out why your virtual summit workload is too much for you. And that virtual, like that sounds spammy when you're fitting it 45 times in 3 sentences. When you're doing it like this, will you just do like a quick sweep so people can see it highlighted? It's enough to have context, but it's not super overwhelming. Now, when we go a huge chunk, I would see if we can get it in there. This is me just honestly trying to give suggestions in terms of things. But like, if this is what you did, this is great. The next thing that I would have you do is submit it to Google.
And that we have to do every time, right? Because this is also one of those things that you don't think of when you're like, I need to blog.
Yes. So technically, no. Technically, we never have to submit our blog posts to Google because Google will eventually find them. Google scans the web and it will go to your homepage and it will use the links in your top navigation, the links in your footer, and it will click around and try to find the pages on your site. That can take a while. I'm impatient. I don't want to wait. I want Google to do it now. And so what I do is I submit the website or the new blog post or the new page, the new sales page to Google Search Console. And basically what it does, it just taps Google on the shoulder. Hey, I have a new post. It literally takes 15 seconds in order to actually submit it. Like it does not take a lot of time. I think, and I don't know if Squarespace is doing this currently. They might already be doing it. Some WordPress plugins already do it. Well, they will let Google know. They'll kind of like send a little ping from the website to like Google Search Console type thing and kind of let them know. Do I trust that? Right now, I don't. I have trust issues with that. And I would rather go in and manually do it just because it does not take a long time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And the gain of it getting crawled within like a few minutes versus potentially months or years, that's definitely a worthwhile 15 seconds.
Yes, yes, I agree. Okay. Is there anything else that we wanted to go over?
No, I think the only other thing I would have said is while we're on here, and I'll stop sharing because I think this is more like a chat. I think the other thing while we're talking about blogs and blogging, I'd love to hear if you think everyone needs a blog and how much we should be blogging, because I
Yeah.
think that's the other rabbit hole that people get scared about falling down.
Yeah. Okay. So the word should, the word have to, they're difficult because no, you don't have to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're in a busy season of business. If you're in a busy season, you're like, bro, I can't even like shower without losing my mind. Like, then no, ma'am, we are not adding a blog. But I think if you want to take your SEO seriously, don't start with your blog. And I think that this is where people are like, wait, what? I thought that
Yeah.
blogs were the only way to grow SEO. But like, I've talked about blogging enough in Search Club, but that wasn't the first thing that we kicked off with. I didn't start talking about that until 2.5 months in, or when people brought it up, because you start creating blogs and then you're creating content about like virtual summit workload and like an audio summit, why an audio summit is so great for you, yada, yada. All of that's very supportive, very helpful. Google doesn't know what you're an expert in. You have a homepage, you have services page. I know you have product sales pages, you have freebie pages, you have landing page, like so many pages that we can target keywords on, and we don't have to SEO optimize all of them. Not all of your pages are going to show up in Google. It really is a priority game, but can we get keywords to put on your homepage, to put on your about page, to put on your services pages, so that Google, when they're scanning your entire site, they're getting more context clues about what you are an authority in. So if your website is new, you've never messed around with SEO at all, start with your core website pages, the pages that aren't really going to change too much. And then know that your SEO isn't going to change too much there. Once those are set, they're kind of set. You very rarely have to come in unless you found a new keyword that you wanted to target or you're pivoting your business. You rarely have to come in and like redo everything. So it's kind of like once they're good, it's the foundational setup, and then we can move into blogging. So if you already have keywords for the other pages and you're like, should I blog? Should I not blog? If you have the capacity, I would say yes, blog. I actually have a YouTube video coming out on my channel. I think by the time that this comes out, it's already going to be live. But it's a video that I recorded last week, and it essentially breaks down why I started blogging again, because I took a huge step back from blogging because I was focused on YouTube. And now I feel good with YouTube. I feel confident. Like I got a workflow going. I only post 2 videos a month. I could ramp it up. That feels exhausting. So instead, what I'm doing is like, okay, I've built up my channel to where I want it to be right now. I kind of want it to cruise. Now I'm going to build up my blog a little bit. And so what I'm seeing is me literally taking YouTube videos, turning them into blog posts, very helpful blog posts that sound like me, that are structured well, and all of that. Those are getting found for keywords. And so now I'm getting traffic to YouTube from my YouTube videos, and I'm getting traffic to my blog. This is a long-winded answer, but essentially what I'm seeing with the traffic is that me and my blog posts getting found for those specific keywords is letting Google know what I'm an expert in, and it's actually increasing the rankings of my services pages without me touching them. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats. So that's why I think blogs can be wildly beneficial, because they really show Google and AI. It's like the training manual for your business. What are you an expert in? And it gives you resources to be able to send to your podcast listeners, to your email subscribers. Like these are reusable assets. These are not a journal entry. These are all about your audience. You know what I mean? So it's a piece of marketing that you can then repurpose everywhere else. And then you don't have to create that piece of content again. In a year, you just come back and refresh that same piece of content. You don't have to redo it like an Instagram reel. Like you can just reuse this stuff, which is so beneficial. But I will say that like, I like to tell clients when it comes to blogging, at minimum, can we create 1 a quarter? Bare minimum. If we can, I would like 1 a month. If you have more capacity, I do have clients that are like, 1 a month, girl, I'm doing 1 a week. And to that I say, have at it. Most of my clients, I'm not there. I can't post a new blog post every week. I can't make that commitment. But my SEO is still growing, like, very well.
But I think that's so much less of a commitment than I think I had coming in, but I think a lot of people have. They think it's like once, if not twice a week commitment, kind of because we're used to it with social media. But I think
Yeah.
also maybe back in the day, blogging was this more journal entry, regular thing, and that regularity was so important. So I think that's actually a nice permission slip that once a quarter is fine, and
Yep.
that's so much more manageable than once or twice a week.
Yeah, and people, they get this confused. Are you a business owner that has a blog, or are you a blogger that's blogging?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a blogger that's blogging, you're going to have to post once a week, twice a week, some even post 3 times a week. If you're a business owner that has a blog, once a quarter, once a month is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the big thing overall. We're looking at this as business owners. So
Yep.
before we kind of wrap up, because I do want to keep this like high level enough that people can walk away, are there any other like key things we business owners should be thinking about when we think about SEO and our website specifically?
You have to know your audience. You have to talk to them. Start picking up the breadcrumbs and the context clues. Like, I created a blog post about like the best SEO or the best website builder for SEO. I did 0 keyword research for that until after I completely wrote it. I wrote that blog post because everybody was asking me. And I was like, bro, I just had a link to be like, here you go, and send them off. And so I was like, okay, 4 people in the past week have asked me this. I have to create a blog post. And then I went in and found a keyword. I'm already ranking for it because it's the perfect solution to the problem. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't talk to my people, if I didn't encourage questions from my audience. So a lot of people think that SEO lives in this like silo thing where we strategize and whatever. And it's a testing and tweaking process forever. Forever. And so people are like, oh my God, that's awful. I just want it to be one and done. That's not marketing and that's not business.
Yeah.
You can figure things out, get the core foundation, take the foot off the gas, go focus on something else, let your SEO momentum build a little bit, come back. Like, it can be in stages, it can be in levels. It does not have to be all at once. But I think getting used to connecting with your audience, noticing their questions. And if you're new in business and you're like, yo, girl, people ain't asking me shit, go to Facebook groups, go to other people, like, who is doing what you are doing, and look at the comments and the questions happening in their audience. Go to Reddit, go to ChatGPT. Like, I don't care. We just have to figure out what your people are doing and then allow yourself to test and tweak along the way. That's the only way that you're going to get sustainable results. And you can make it fun. Like, I also tell people, and I think it's important to know, in Search Club, I tell people 1 hour a week. That's all you need, 1 hour a week. And if you can't do 1 hour every single week, can you do 4 hours a month? Can it be one chunk of 4 hours or 2 chunks of 2 hours? I don't care. It's just 1 hour a week can we use to infuse SEO into our websites, into our blogs, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a perfect segue into talking about Search Club, which is kind of, in the nicest way possible, a way to babysit the SEO piece.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it except for those 4 hours a month that you're poking me and reminding me to do stuff. And then you're there to help prompt what I should actually focus on for those 4 hours a month. I think the structure you've built with this is so smart because it's not tons of extra content to learn. It's
Yep.
just like holding space to do the thing and guidance on what to do. And I think that's just so genius. And if you're interested in SEO, I think this is such a gentle way to get started without overwhelming yourself. But I can keep raving. Tell us a bit more about Search Club in a more like objective fashion.
Yeah. Okay, so Search Club is my SEO membership, and I kind of set this up to be like an accountability container and like an SEO expert in your pocket. So I know that like SEO can really get on the back burner for a lot of business owners. And then 6 months later, they're like, shit, I wish I would have started this months ago. And so my whole thing is like, can we just do 1 hour a week? And so I'm there for support, answering questions, giving reviews and feedback in the Slack channel all the time. Like, I tell people Q&As and questions and giving feedback is my favorite thing. And I was actually thinking about launching an SEO membership 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because I would have created what I didn't want, which is like that massive content library where people like just get too overwhelmed. And so when I started Search Club, it's it was in the beta round because I wanted to see, hey, this is what I'm seeing, what my clients need. Is this what other people need? And the launch went incredible. I'm getting incredible feedback from everybody. What I am noticing though is like I'm craving, and other people that I think are less willing to take action, to take messy action. Because there's, I'm finding that there's two different kinds of people. There's people that are willing to take messy action and they're like, yo, I'll figure this out. I'm going in, I'm doing this. Tell me how I did. Yeah, perfect. Which Michelle always has questions, and I love it because it helps me see like how I can better explain this stuff to people. But then there's other people that are like, I'm so overwhelmed and I don't know what I don't know and I don't know where to start. And for that, before I actually open up doors to Search Club, because it's not a doors are always open type thing, I do close doors. I'm creating like a bite-sized curriculum. And so it's that step-by-step process. Once you come in, there's going to be bite-sized videos that you can kind of go through and learn like the methodology behind it. I am trying to, as you can tell, I talk a lot. I'm trying to keep these videos like 10 to 15 minutes. So they still fit within your 1 hour a week of like, watch the video, take action. So that's the goal. Like my whole goal with this is for people to take action. I don't want you to keep learning and not doing anything. I want you to test some shit out and let me tell you what you did right or what you did wrong so that you can start infusing SEO friendly habits into the things that you're doing.
Yeah, I think it is very much like the personal trainer approach of like, you show us how to do the moves and then help us improve so we do them right.
Yep.
And for someone who can get overwhelmed easily, like I think the bite-sized approach is really helpful. And I've seen personally, like my SEO, it's like it's slow times, but I'm actually ranking for more of the words I've actually intentionally infused into the website. I feel more confident knowing what to put on the website as I've been making, new offers. The sales pages come more naturally, and I know how to infuse it more logically with SEO too. And then like the blogs, like the one we kind of spotlighted here, I had the question in my audience. I didn't have that instinct to be like, let me write this down. And since putting this blog out even like a week ago, I've shared it with someone because exactly what you said. If one person has the question, other people do. So I think it's also like learning the muscle memory too.
Yeah. And like, let me be there for feedback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to do this alone. I've been doing this for 10 years. I didn't have anybody to ask questions to. You know what? And then I was spinning my wheels and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if this is the right thing. Like, I don't know. I was testing things with clients and like just having somebody that you can ask questions to, because there is no place like this on the internet for SEO. The SEO industry is it's male dominated. It's very technical. It's very corporate level SEO. It's very, I can't tell you what I'm doing. It's way too hard. Don't look behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Where me, I think I have a unique approach because I'm not an agency. I don't want to do it for you forever. Like I have done for you foundational setup packages, but like at the end of all of my containers with clients, my goal is to have them take it into their own hands or hire somebody to do it or have enough knowledge to hire a correct SEO agency to do it for them. That's the thing, is like empowered SEO instead of like being overwhelmed about it.
Yeah, I love that. And with that, let's tell people a bit more about when they can join Search Club and where they can find more about you and learn more, because you'd make some very helpful content on the internet. So let's share it all with people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so right now, I am going to be honest here. I don't have a specific day where I'm opening up the cart for Search Club. This is what I'm thinking, and I'm just trying to be honest if y'all are listening to this. By March 18th, the doors should be open. They might be open a little bit before that, but March 18th at the very latest, doors will be open. I'm considering leaving them open for 2 weeks. I'm kind of like a longer runway type girl. It just feels better for sales and for launching to kind of give people like a longer time frame. But if you are interested, you can go to mariahmagazine.com/club, and that will redirect you right over to the sales page. Or if you are seeing this before doors are open, you're going to be taken to the waitlist page. But that's where you're going to be able to find all of like the nitty gritty details and stuff like that. And then if you
I'll pop the link for that in the show notes so anybody needs to find it.
Cool. And then my website is mariahmagazine.com. I'm over on YouTube. You can just search Mariah Magazine. I should pop right up. Threads, Instagram, Mariah Magazine CO. I kind of hang out in all of the different places. But yeah, that's the overview T.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, for digging into my website and using it as a case study for everyone. And I hope we have inspired some SEO action and made it feel a little less scary. And by me going first, hopefully it also rips the band-aid of like, you definitely can do it. I'm doing it here on my own with a bit of help from Mariah. And it's definitely possible for you too.
Yes.
Hey, thanks.